November 10th, 1979, a farmer and his son were looking around their cornfields in the area of Route 20, located in Caledonia, New York. The farmer and his son found a body of a young female. She would be known by the name of Caledonia Jane Doe, or Cali Doe, until she was later identified decades after as 16-year-old Tammy Jo Alexander of Brooksville, Florida. Tammy was found fully clothed. She had been shot twice. One bullet hit her right eye and the other the back of her head. She was wearing a multi-plaid button-down, tan corduroy pants, blue knee-high socks, light blue underwear, white exquisite bra, brown lace-up, ripple sole shoes, size 8, men's nylon lined Auto Sports Products Inc. windbreaker with black stripes down the arms. Auto Sports Products had jackets, a one-time promotional gimmick, jewelry, Native American style necklace with silver beads and 3 small turquoise stones, one resembling a bird, personal items, 2 keychains attached to the front belt loop of her jeans. One keychain was the shape of a heart. The inscription on it said, in quotes, "He who holds the key can open my heart," end quotes. The other keychain had a key on it that fit into the heart. There is no evidence to say the serial killer sexually assaulted her. The pockets on her jeans were inside out. It looked like the killer took the identification of Tammy or whatever else she had in her pockets. The medical examiner believes she was killed sometime the night before the farmer and son found her. White female, age 13 to 19, height 5'3", 120 pounds. Brown curly shoulder-length hair, frosted about 4 months prior and was starting to grow out. Investigators believe the killer or killers drove Tammy to the area where she would later be found. Used a .38 caliber handgun, shot Tammy once by the road. Then she was dragged off the road into the cornfield and shot a second time. Investigators would uncover a .38 caliber slug under Tammy's body. Testing the bullet didn't come up with anything, and matching it to another crime or a murder, or even the murder weapon. According to the medical examiner, the contents of her stomach, pieces of meat, corn, and potatoes. This matters because there was a waitress that would come forward. The waitress worked at a diner located in Lima, New York. Both Lima and Caledonia are small rural communities located in Livingston County, New York. Distance between Lima and Caledonia is around 13 miles. The waitress remembers seeing a girl that looked like Tammy come into the diner the night before the murder. She wasn't alone. There would be a man with her. The man was described as a white male, height 5'8" to 5'9", wore black rimmed glasses. He drove a tan station wagon. There would be a few tips that came in from truck drivers saying that the girl had been hitchhiking. One truck driver said that she was trying to get a trip over there to Boston, Massachusetts. None of these reports have been 100% verified to have been Tammy, so we don't know if it was really her or not. She would be buried in Mount Morris Cemetery located in Danville, New York. Her gravestone said, in quotes, "Lest we forget an unidentified girl, November 9th, 1979. And flights of angels sing thee to thy rest," end quotes. Decades would pass. Nothing significant would come up. September 2005, Tammy's body would be exhumed. They would test her teeth for both DNA and isotopic testing. The isotope test will help investigators know where in the world she lived that majority of her life. The mineral content that came from the water she drank in life showed Tammy spent majority of her life in the south or southwest region of the USA. There would be testing done on her clothes, testing the pollen This is called forensic pollenology. This is the study of pollens, grains, and spores. It's kind of like isotope testing on teeth. The tests reveal where the pollen or grains or spores were found on the clothing and where they could be found at in the USA or in the world. The samples used for the test showed she came from one of these 4 places: Arizona, California, South Florida, and Mexico. Was a serial killer, Christopher Wilder, who some say could have been her killer. He would die in a shootout with police April 13, 1984. The main reason Christopher Wilder was looked into because the auto sports jacket that Tammy was wearing is the same brand Christopher Wilder would use and wear. The murder of Tammy occurred in 1979. Christopher Wilder is known to have started his murder spree 5 years later in 1984. He could have started earlier. At the moment, there is nothing to 100% prove Christopher Wilder had anything to do with Tammy's murder. Another serial killer would confess to murdering Tammy in 1984, Henry Lee Lucas. At this point, Tammy was still a Jane Doe. Henry Lee Lucas said he killed her. He never said what her name was, though. Also, Henry Lee Lucas was known to confess to murders he had nothing to do with. It has come out that investigators with the Texas Rangers gave Henry Lee Lucas steak dinners, milkshakes, and TV to get him to cooperate. Also, he would get the case files to some of these cases to help jog his memory. There are no recordings of the interviews. With that being said, he most likely confessed to Tammy's murder just to do it. He had little to lose, so why not? January 26, 2015, Cali Doe would be identified as 16-year-old Tammy Jo Alexander. DNA would be used to give Tammy her identity back. Tammy Jo Alexander was born November 2nd, 1963, in Atlanta, Georgia. Tammy would eventually move to Brooksville, Florida. It's a city and county seat of Hernando County. Tammy didn't have a good home life. Her biological dad wasn't in her life. The only people she had was her mom, half-sister, and stepfather. Barbara Jenkins, the mom, would become an addict to prescription pills. She wasn't the best mom, from having temper tantrums and being very emotionally volatile. Barbara Jenkins worked at a local truck stop as a waitress that was close to the home. She would eventually get her daughter, Tammy Jo, a job there. Tammy was known to run away, and she ran away with a friend a couple times. And they went to the truck stop. The two would hitch rides with truck drivers. At one point, the two would hitch a ride from Brooksville, Florida to California. The friend would call her parents. Her parents would buy the two plane tickets back to Florida. Barbara Jenkins, she died January 17th of 98. Tammy had a boyfriend before she vanished the spring of 1979. There is no date to say when she was last seen. We just know a rough time frame. When it comes to the missing person report, we don't know if there was actually an official report put out in 1979. We do know in 2014, one of Tammy's classmates decided to report her missing. If Tammy was reported missing in 79, the police didn't take the report seriously because Tammy had been known to run away. To this day, Tammy Jo Alexander's case is still unsolved. We don't know everything that happened, and we don't know who exactly killed her. Her life was cut short. She had her whole life ahead of her. If you have any information, you can call the Livingston County Sheriff's Office at 1-844-527-6847. Stay safe out there.